We are rounding up a bodacious bowl of board games that we played so far in 2024 in this episode of Little Big Thumbs.
Welcome to Little Big Thumbs, a channel that's all about finding the games that are equally fun for little players and big players. My name is Milo.
And I'm JP. And today we're talking about the games that we played so far in 2024, the first quarter of the year. We're talking about how many games we played, the games we played most often, the games that surprised us, as well as our very favorite game of the year so far.
All right, you ready for some rock, paper, scissors?
No. Actually, no. You know why? Because we've got this book called 21 Hand Games that was sent to us by Don Eskridge. I don't know if you know who Don Eskridge is, Milo. Don Eskridge is the designer of The Resistance. Not just a Resistance, but The Resistance.
No
Such
way.
a fantastic game. Yeah, this book is a collection of 21 games that you just need your hands and your friends to play. And so I thought maybe then, let's leave the old traditional rock, paper, scissors behind us and play one of these games to figure out who's going to drop their board game stats first. What do you think?
That sounds great. I always lost at rock, paper, scissors anyway. Let's give this a try.
The game that we're going to play to determine who's going first here is called Wrist War. The way Wrist War works is that I'm going to put my arm around you. You're going to put your arm around me.
All right.
Like so. And the goal of this game is to grab the other person's wrist.
Okay.
You can hold your wrist up just like that. Just do that, right?
Okay.
Easy peasy. However, the trick is that we're going to have our eyes closed. All right?
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Eyes closed?
Okay.
All right. 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Wrist War. Oh my gosh. All right. Is that a draw?
I don't know.
3, 2,
2,
1.
1. Wrist War.
I think I got you.
Ooh, that was so fun and silly.
All right, so if you're curious about more silly hand games to play with your friends, 21 hand games from Don Eskridge. We'll drop a link in the description of this video so you can find out more about this book. Okay, Milo, I won the war, and so I'm going to go first with some of my stats, my board game stats for the first quarter of 2024. So I've played just over 150 games. I think probably by the time this video goes up, it'll be 160-ish. About 46 of those games were unique. So 46 different games played 150, 160 times. 26 of those games were games that I've never played before. The person that I played most often with, actually my two kids are the two people that I played most often with. Which is really exciting because that's the first time in history that I've gone a quarter where they were top of the list, it's awesome because it's not just me anymore saying, hey, girls, you want to play a game? We're now at the point where I can sometimes wake up in the morning and the kids have set up a game and they've said, hey, Daddy, I want to play a game. And I say, can I please just have a cup of coffee first? And they say, no, Daddy, you got to play a game first. Anyways, I love my kids are taking up my passion for games. And so that's why they're at the top of the list. Anyways, final stat for me is my H index, and that's an H index of 5. So that means that there are 5 games that I've at least played 5 times each over the course of these last 3 months. Whew.
Those are some good stats. You've got me beat on almost all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So all that wrist war training.
Yep, that's it. For my stats, I've played about 120 games in 2024 so far. Out of those games, 58 have been different from each other, so they've been unique plays. And 20 of them were brand new to me, never played before. The person that I've played the most with is my coworker, Dakota. Hi, Dakota. So we work at the boardroom together and we often stay up very late. Dakota is one of my only coworkers who will play games until 3 or 4 in the morning with me. So we often play together. I'm very, very lucky to have a friend that likes staying up late. And my H index is 4. So, like I said, you got me beat on all of the stats.
All right. Well, I mean, you mentioned the boardroom. We got to give a quick shout out. We got to give a quick shout out to our friends at the Boardroom Game Cafe here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is a wonderful place to gather, have a tasty bite to eat, and play some marvelous games. This is the boardroom is the whole reason that I live in Nova Scotia now. It's the whole reason that we're friends. And I have so many memories of finishing the late night shift at the boardroom and finding those couple of people who are willing to stay up past 2, 3 in the morning to play a couple of board games before we stumble on home to bed. Shout out Lewis McGinn. All right, next up we're going to be talking about our most played games of the year so far, and I'm gonna drop a caveat on everybody here because we've got this challenge going on for 2024. We're aiming to play both Similo and Unmatched 100 times, so we're going to discount those games from our most played games report of this section of the video because, at least for me, those two games are absolutely going to be at the top of every quarter for the entirety of 2024 as we push forward to play those games 100 times each.
Ditto.
The game that I've played most often in the first chunk of 2024 is Strike. I think Strike is currently published by Ravensburger, and Strike is this game where everyone's got this giant mitt of dice, and the box, when you open it, it opens into this arena, this like divoted like arena that you play into. I remember you've never played Strike.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So the idea of Strike is that you've got this mitt full of dice and you want to be the last person with dice in their hand. And so there is a die, maybe 2 in the middle of the arena, and you take one of your dice and you chuck it in. And if all of the numbers on the dice are different values, then you can choose to throw again. But if there's any matches, then all those matches come out and they go back into your hand, which is a good thing because you don't want to run out of dice. However, if there's this situation where if you throw a die and all of the dice match, if all of the dice come out of the arena, the next player has to roll all of their dice into the arena. And that is where you might go from being the winner, the clear leader of the game, to being potentially out of the game entirely. This game is pure chaos, no strategy whatsoever, so much fun. And so this has become a bedtime game for my kids and I. We take this to one of their beds and we play a few games of Strike before we go to sleep because there's nothing better than a giant adrenaline rush right before you're trying to go to sleep. But anyways, we played 2 or 3 games of this almost every night before bed right now, and that's why Strike is my most played game of the year so far. But I'm also going to throw in an honorable mention because the game that I played most often in one sitting in the first quarter of the year is Boop from Smirk and Dagger Games. Boop being the game where you are trying to get 3 cats in a row, not kittens. You start with kittens, you got to upgrade them to cats, and then get 3 cats in a row. This is the adorable mechanic of you drop a cat and it makes all of the other cats go onto the mattress as they're trying to snuggle in together. So I introduced Boop to my mother, and we played a game of Boop, and I won the game. And then she said, "Okay, we're going to play that game again," and we played Boop again, and I won again. And she was like, "All right, we're just going to keep playing this game until I win." And so we must have played 5 or 6 consecutive games of Boop until she did finally win the game. Good job, Mom, that you won your first game of Boop. Took you a few tries, but that was such a memorable evening, that one-on-one time. And so that's my honorable mention for most played games of the quarter in one sitting and overall.
All right, I have a most played game so far, and this is by a landslide, not including the Unmatched or Similo plays.
Okay.
And that is none other than Magic the Gathering.
Really?
Really, I started playing in December, and it just, I don't know, something like really clicked inside of my brain, and I was like, this is so cool, I need to play more of this.
Cool.
Yes, I have quickly become addicted in the best way. It's been a lot of fun. I've been able to play it with all of my coworkers every Friday. We all play. It's great. So Magic the Gathering, have you ever played?
I have to hand in my nerd card, I think, because I've actually never played Magic the Gathering. The closest I got was Star Wars Destiny when that collectible game was popular. But no Magic for me. Maybe you can show me someday.
We'll have to play it.
All right.
My honorable mention is a trivia game called CDSK, which stands for Curious, Delightful, Seasoned Knowledge. And
Just rolls off the tongue.
CDSK. I am pretty picky when it comes to trivia games, but this trivia game has blown me away. I've played it many, many times now, and it honestly, like, I haven't gotten sick of it yet. I don't imagine I will. It's very accessible in the sense that every card has like 10 questions and you can choose how hard the question is going to be based on how confident you are in that category. So nobody is going to be asked a question that, you know, like they feel really like silly or embarrassed about not knowing a ton about that topic, because they get to choose what kind of question they want. And I love that. It's a great, great party game.
The next topic we need to talk about is our surprises. Our surprises, our board game surprises so far in 2024. And my pick for this category is going to be Forever Home from Birdwood Games. This is a follow-up to Dog Park. Dog Park, where you're literally taking your dogs for a walk. You know, get a dog walking business on the go. And in this game, you are trying to find a permanent home for dogs that don't currently have that. Love this theme. So such an adorable presentation. The surprise for me is that there was a slight like thematic disconnect. Dog Park was such a marvelous meshing of those two things, where you were literally going around your walk around the park, and this one being more of an abstract experience. Just, I think my expectations were maybe misaligned with what the game actually was, and so in that sense it was a surprise for me. If this is a game that you are looking at and you are already like in love with Dog Park, maybe go play it on Board Game Arena, because it is on BGA to play with a membership on there, so you can get used to this game so you're not caught off guard by how that theme and mechanical match is not quite maybe what you were expecting as a fan of Dog Park. I almost forgot that I've also got an honorable mention for my surprise category, and that is going to be River Valley Glassworks from All Play. River Valley Glassworks is a game with these like adorable critters, where you have this glass exchange business, and you've got a hand of glass, and you are trading one of your glass with this flowing river, and you can take glass from the river in one of the adjacent like segments of the river, and everybody's got like this board where you are both trying to fill in columns and rows to score points. The first time I played the game, it was very cute, very lovely. But then the more I played it, the more I realized that I really had to pay attention to what the other players were collecting. So there was the potential for a little bit of hate drafting, where you can try to deprive someone of the thing they need to get the most possible points. And just marvelous. I've played this game a half dozen times now, and so I already knew that it was like really pretty to look at. But the gameplay, getting me excited to play again and again, that's why it's a surprise for me.
Okay, that sounds like a cool game, and I love all play games. You know, we've played Fiction.
Yep.
Mountain Goats is one of my personal favorites, so I'd be
Mudo
interested.
Sumo!
I'd be interested to try it out. My biggest surprise of 2024 so far is a game called The Perfect Wave. We recently got it from the Op. It is for 2 to 4 players, and the thing that surprised me the most about this game is just how strong the theme is throughout the entire game. All of the components are, you know, like wave, ocean, surfing themed. Not just that, but like the mechanics of the game itself, whether it's like the cards in the market row being like washed out to sea and needing to replace them at the end of every turn, or whether it's using like wax tokens to do special things. Like everything that is in this game was very, very well thought out. The theme is so strong throughout the entire game, and I love a game that has a very strong theme. It's easy to immerse myself, and I really enjoyed that. Playing with two people, it was super chill. It was very chill. I imagine that it might be a little bit of a different game with 4 players, so I'd be interested to try it again. But The Perfect Wave was definitely the game that stood out the most to me so far, in the fact that I was just so pleasantly surprised by how strong that theme was.
Cool. And I think in case I missed it, is this a competitive or a cooperative game?
It is competitive.
Okay. Very cool. It sounds fun. I mean, I've seen the box and it looks super cool. And I'm excited to give it a try. Can't wait for you to show me how to ride that perfect wave.
I also have an honorable mention.
Awesome.
So this game is Harrow County, the game of Gothic conflict.
Ooh.
I knew nothing about this game going in. A friend was just like, hey, let's play games today. And I was like, sure, whatever you want to play, I'm fine with whatever. And they were like, we're going to play this. I played it the other day and I want to play it again. I also think you'll like it because it's an asymmetric game. And I love asymmetric games. As we all know, I've talked about Root and Villainous a fair bit.
Endlessly.
Endlessly, yes. Guilty. So yes, I was like, okay, great, let's play this game. This game is very cool for several reasons. And since playing it, I've learned even more about the game, which just was, it blew me away. But the thing that stands out to me the most, apart from the creepy, dark theme of Gothic stuff, is, I'm going to call it a dice tower mechanic. You're not putting dice in this tower, but it is a dice tower of sorts. There are basically conflicts that occur during the game, sort of like battles between players. And you're going to take these cubes and put them down this tower of sorts. And then as the cubes fall out, whoever has the most cubes will win that conflict. Now, here's the catch.
Okay.
There are shelves that are in this tower, and sometimes the cubes that you put in the tower might get stuck on those shelves, and so you're not always going to get the same number of cubes that come out, which is very interesting because you might have like way more cubes than your opponent, but when you put them all in, your opponent might end up winning because yours all got stuck in the tower. Very cool mechanic. It was I've never seen a mechanic like that before, and I just loved it. It blew me away.
Awesome. And this is published by Off the Page Games, right? And I don't know if you know about this company, Off the Page Games. They have a particular niche in that they only publish games that are based on graphic novels.
Off the Page.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so this game is run by Jay Cormier of the Bamboozle Brothers in his team up with Sen Fung Lim. Great games like Junk Art, Belfort. So many games.
Your favorites.
Well, these are two of my favorite designers. When they get together, I know I'm going to have a good time. So anyways, Off the Page Games, super cool, like niche. They really stand out in the way they approach their games. And you talking about Harrow County, I'm excited to give it a try. All right, Milo, it is time for our top game of the month. But I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to give you another chance to go first because I want us to play one more game from 21 Hand Games. We're going to play Number Stomp. And in Number Stomp, what we are going to do is, in a 2-player game, we're going to use 2 hands. And you're going to hold up either a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or a closed fist, which is a stomp. And we're going to use 2 hands, and each hand has to have a different number on it. And so whoever shouts out the highest number first will win.
Okay. What does the stomp do?
Oh, the stomp cancels out the highest number. So if
Okay.
there is a 5 and a stomp, so probably in a 2-player game, you probably don't want to do both of those. Or maybe you do. I don't know. I've never played this game. We're going to try it right now. So I was like, number, stomp,
Okay.
whatever. And so stomp cancels out the highest number. And so like if there's a 5, and so you've got a 3, and there's a stomp, then the stomp would stomp the 5, and then the highest number would be the 3. Does that make sense?
I got it.
All right. You ready? All
I'm
right.
ready.
Okay.
Number stomp.
Oh, I cheated. I have to have 2 different numbers.
Number stomp.
Oh, I did it again. 2 twos. Why am I incapable of doing
Number stomp.
Oh my
4.
gosh, I put up 2 ones because I'm terrible. All right.
Number stomp. 4.
Oh, all right. You got me. You got me. You won the number stomp.
Ah.
Okay. This book is so silly.
It's so silly. I love it.
I love this. I love this. All right. Top game of the year. Year so far. Yeah.
Year so far.
Yeah.
That game is Mlem Space Agency. Meow, meow, meow. So Mlem, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin. I love this game so much. We've only played it the one time, but like out of all the games that I've played this year, out of all 120-ish plays that I've had, this has stood out the most. It is so... Okay, sorry. Let me back up a bit. I'm getting a little excited, a little ahead of myself. This is a press your luck game.
All right.
And what I love most about this, not only the theme, cats in space, how cool is that? But I love that despite this being a press your luck game, there is still quite a bit of strategy that is in there, which is unexpected. I've played a lot of press your luck games, and, you know, whether it's like pressing your luck with cards flipping over or rolling dice, you know, like it's called press your luck for a reason. Luck. But in this game, there's a lot of strategy that's involved, and that really took me by surprise. The replayability is rather high just because there are different like modules that you can try out. We only did the one, but I'm excited to play more and see how those go. So one of the things that is in the game that makes it so cool with the strategy is that every cat astronaut that you're going to put out there has a different special ability that comes into play, and part of the strategizing is trying to figure out like what astronaut your opponents are going to play. It was very, very cool for me. And I already said, but let me just mention again, cats in space, come on.
I remember when we played this game that you were kind of like just like floating up off of your chair after we had played because you liked it so much. So I'm not entirely surprised that it's in this lofty position as your top game of the quarter. And I'm excited to play some more. There's like so much to discover with this little push your luck game.
Yeah, I'm excited to play more. I'm very curious to know what game you're going to mention.
So my top game of the quarter is I'm gonna speak kind of as for my family rather than for myself. So this is our top like family game of the quarter so far, and this game is from Lucky Duck Games, the kids family imprint of Lucky Duck Games called Lucky Duck Kids. This is the Kids Chronicles, the Old Oak Prophecy. This is a like story-driven game that is dependent on interaction with an app. So you have your smart device, your tablet or your phone. You've got a board and some cards, and everything in the game is going to be interacting with the QR codes and your device. So if you want to talk to a character, you got to scan that character. If you want to travel to a different location, you got to scan that location.
That's so cool.
And so every episode of this story is a puzzle that we've got to solve, where you've got to kind of visit locations in a certain order, figure out what the story is, what like objects you need to bring where, and to bring them to which characters in order to solve that episode of the story. And there's, I don't know, maybe 8 episodes in the entire story as we try to figure out what's going on with the forest, why is everything going funky, and there is this giant like mechanical beast that is tearing up the forest. It's really neat. It's really neat. And it's neat not just because of the game, but because of how it fit into our family dynamic over the last number of months. My wife is currently away for school several days a week, so we've had this like destination game night. Like every Friday night, we have gathered together to play the Old Oak Prophecy. And so, you know, mommy gets home on the Thursday, we get settled in, and then the Friday, we know the Old Oak Prophecy is coming. So we had this like couple of months where every week we had this like destination family bonding time around the Old Oak Prophecy such a cool experience. It's not like replayable, but even though it's not replayable, my youngest daughter was like, we're gonna play that game again. And we got the previous version of Kids Chronicles, which is called Quest for the Moonstones. And so we've just started in that one. But anyways, Kids Chronicles, the Old Oak Prophecy, super cool game. And so that's our game of the quarter, our family game of the quarter.
That's so cool. I didn't know that this was a thing. I knew that, you know, the original Crime Chronicles games,
Chronicles of Crime, yeah.
Chronicles of Crime
Yeah.
for adults, but to know that there's a kids version is very cool. You know, like there are so many games to play all the time. I don't always have the energy or the time to read a big complicated rule book for adults, but knowing that there's a kids version, hey.
If you have your favorite games that you played the most so far in 2024, whether it be your favorites or what you've played the most, or maybe even what you're most excited to play in the rest of 2024, let us know in the comments of this video. And if you're not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with all of our other adventures here at Little Big Thumbs. So that's it. That's it. Milo, we ready to sign off?
We sure are.
All right. Well, whether you've got little players
Or big players
make sure that you keep playing games
that make your thumbs
go
go way up.
Bye for
Bye.
now.